On my first project, I lost $30,000, blew my timeline, almost got sued by the buyers because the grass was brown, and overall the project was a complete disaster. But failure is the best teacher, so today I'm going to talk about my lessons learned from my very first project. Welcome to the Mastering Real Estate Podcast. This podcast is for real estate investors and professionals looking to take their real estate game to the next level. On Tuesdays, I analyze the industry's leading real estate books and break down the main lessons that you can apply to your life and business. Then on Thursdays, I review the lessons I have learned from flipping over 100 houses and being a full-time real estate investor since 2018. Stay tuned each week so that we can all become masters of real estate together. Today we're going to talk about my first project ever. My first project was a ground-up build in a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama called Pleasant Grove. My father, who is a real estate investor and developer, had bought a piece of land out there and decided to let me go manage the project. In hindsight, maybe that was a mistake. Well, of course, I made every mistake in the book on this project, including going way over budget, blowing the timeline, picking finishes that were way too expensive for the area, and pricing the property too high, among several other things. We went through 2 general contractors, several subcontractors, and looking back, the project was a complete disaster. I'll never forget an evening when I flew out to do a final walkthrough of the house and it wasn't done, and I had to go all marine on the contractors and yell at everybody. That night, everyone had to work until 2 a.m. so that next day we could do the punch list walkthrough, and it was a tense evening. Before we get into the lessons learned from this project, I want to review some of the basic property details. So this was a new construction project in Pleasant Grove, Alabama. I have the address in the slideshow, so if you're watching this, you can see it there. If not, you can check out the show notes. I started the project in the beginning of 2018, and it almost took the entire year to complete, which definitely shouldn't have taken that long. The project ended up costing $255,000, and we ended up selling it for $239,900. We lost about $30,000 on this first project, and at the time, it was devastating. The lessons learned from this first project were too numerous to detail, but if I had to sum up my main lesson learned, it's the importance of market research. I failed to do proper market research on this project, and it bit us in the ass at every turn. First, I should have thoroughly researched how much all the comparable houses in the area were selling for and created my budget backwards from there. All this information is freely available on public websites, or I could have simply asked a local realtor to help me pull some comps. But I did not do this. This might have also saved me from overpricing the property when we sold it and having the property sit on the market for 1 to 2 months. Second, I should have looked at a few other houses for sale in the area and walked through them and taken note of the level of finishes being used on comparable properties. This might have saved me from completely overdoing it on all the finishes. These mistakes are such basic mistakes, and it's truly embarrassing to look back and realize that I did not do some of these very simple things. Now, several years in the business, I realized that this is somewhat a rite of passage for new flippers to lose money on their first projects, but of course, I didn't know that at the time. If I could advise a new or aspiring flipper, I would tell them to find a mentor who is successful or a developer and shadow them for at least 6 months before taking on your own project. I think if I had done this, it would have saved me a lot of pain and money over the next 2 years or the first 2 years of building my business. However, I didn't do this. I jumped straight into the fire, and boy did I get burned, especially on this first project. Although I look back on this project as one of my biggest failures, there's always a silver lining. And one of the main silver linings here is that the house actually turned out beautiful. So at least we got some decent marketing out of it. And you can actually check out a full video tour of the house over on our YouTube channel. The second silver lining is that it got me in the game and I learned a ton. I did make a lot of mistakes, but at least I took the leap, learned some valuable lessons, lessons, made some valuable connections, and got started in real estate investing. Real quick, I want to say thank you to our show sponsor, Doratus Academy. We have an awesome course about how to get started investing in real estate where we walk you through picking your investment strategy, identifying your target market, setting up your business structure, lining up your financing, important tax considerations, and how to offset risk with insurance. This is everything that I wish I'd known back when I started investing in real estate. We put it all together for you so that you don't have to fall into every single pitfall that we did. So you can check that out at doratusacademy.com if you're interested. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast and leave us a rating and review. We are a new and growing podcast, so every rating, review, and share helps immensely. Also, make sure that you're following us on social media where you'll see a lot more behind the scenes content on a daily basis. See you every Tuesday and Thursday.